So the topics that I hope to, or I'm going to talk about, are the first this orthography and pronunciation. So we are going to take a look at the alphabet, vowels, consonants, tone, stress, also Livonian grade alternation. Just a minute, I'm going to. Then personal pronouns, how to make sentences in the present tense, also cases and their functions, how to ask questions, expressions, how to greet each other, how to introduce yourself, and we are going to make some exercises. I thought that it would be good to still give you some information about the background of Livonian language. So what is the position among other languages? So Livonian is part of the Uralic languages. Here is one map from made by Timo Rantanen from Bedlan, and I think it illustrates very well these Uralic languages. And as you can see, they are spoken in northeastern part of Europe here, as well as the northern part of Russia. And then Hungarian is somewhat kind of separated in the southern part. And one part of this Uralic languages are the Finnic languages. So, and Livonian is a very small part around here. So we are going to talk about the Livonian language that is spoken in Kurland. So this is a language that we have data, most of the data on. This Salatse Livonian area here that is left from this this historical Livonian language. This is something that we have less data, and we don't have any, for example, any recordings from that. But we have data from this Kurland Livonian, and it is spoken in this Kurland Peninsula, or the northern tip of Kurland. And yes, that's what we have information on. So here is a map of the Livonian coast with these Livonian villages, and where Livonian was actively spoken last century. And traditionally, this Livonian coast is, or the Livonian language is divided into two dialects. So it's the western part, Western Livonian villages, and the eastern part. And there is one village in between. It's Ira language, and this village, or the language spoken in this village, has also been considered to be kind of the central Livonian, or like it's like a transfer dialect from Eastern Livonian, from Western Livonian to Eastern Livonian. And when you look at the dialectal differences in pronunciation, so they are most clear in the vowel system. And what I think about the school and the Livonian is that Livonian, it's in kind of an interesting situation because the differences are not only between this eastern part and western part, but you can also see the differences within the villages themselves. So within the people in the different in the same village. So for example, this wide village here is quite a good representation of that. Now I'm going to let you listen part of the text. It's called Blue Cows. In Livonian, sinist niemed, and it's read by Livonian speaker Peter Damberg. And I just want to listen to this text and try to listen to it from the view of your native language. What do you hear? How does it sound to you? If you have learned some other, maybe even Finnic language, can you make any comparisons just on the pronunciation? Okay, so I'm going to play it to you. So it's about how the blue cows occurred or came to the Livonian coast.
Kus siis ne sinist niemad eita neid?
No, neid jäi võib-olla ei saa ärga või kuigast ja irgest kadde ära. Sinist niemad vanast vanna am niggaks jätse esimest kuolka poika mädraanda valvand päägin toistem äpku paldiin. Siis veel äbovand paljide jõug kõnkide, mis paldiin katabad amranda, kus midagast äb kasa. Siis knašad niitad ja sangdad lietpuu mõtsad, täedad voodjedi, perni, toomedi, kazand mirnaigas soonja ja puu oksad. Tuuls likkas rabband vastu lainide. Puud vannad neis suurt, kui iitsta ainagest tõusta, saadat looja. Puud alla kazan piemd sangd rõu ja mirjema sootan mirneitsede kaitsem rand enš niemede. Uomagad varald ja päevasidam aigal, kui rausti äbo vandra.
What the students sometimes say, that Livonian language sounds like Estonian language with Latvian accent. So there's something from Estonian and something from Latvian, so like put together. And they generally, people sometimes say that it's this, actually this melody is something that is similar to that of Latvian. So yeah, there are different opinions on that. Okay, but let's go to this orthography and pronunciation. So yes, it was a good point that how the Livonian language has been written down. It has been written down in different ways, and Waltz Ernstritz is probably a better person to talk about that because he has studied this Livonian written language, and but we are going in my course. I focus on this orthography and spelling that is being used at the moment. So the current written language. There are different opinions how to present Livonian alphabet. I would say that Livonian alphabet has 31 letters. Sometimes this alphabet also, in this alphabet also the long vowels are added, also long, also the foreign letters. But generally we talk about this alphabet with 31 letters. And the foreign letters, they occur only in foreign names. And Livonian alphabet reflects these similarities with the Estonian and Latvian alphabet. So, for example, these letters or vowels with dots, this is similar to that of Estonian, but for example, the palatalization is marked with this small cedilla below the vowel letter. And the orthography of today's written Livonian language is based on the Eastern Livonian dialect. So let's go to the vowels. There are 8 vowels in Livonian. I'm going to try to pronounce them for you, but I also have some sound examples from Livonian native speakers. But where they are missing, I'm going to do the work. So it's A, E, I, O, Ö, Ö, and U. And all these 8 vowels, they occur in the primary stressed syllable. And in primary stressed syllable, they are both as short and long. The length of a vowel is marked with a macron above the letter. So this is something similar to Latvian. As for in Estonian, for example, the long vowel is marked with the two letters. And in East Livonian, there is this distinction between long, mid, and low back rounded vowels. It's O and O. So one is the simple O with a macron, and this low O is marked with this cedilla. So like in examples, Roda and Tola. And there is no orthographic distinction. So this is also that I'm going to, I should stress that this long, low O, so with this one, with this cedilla here, it is generally used only in the learning materials and in dictionaries, also in transcriptions, but in orthography, it is generally not marked. And it occurs, this long O here, this occurs only as long. So there is no no short version of it. So it's kind of a allophone. And in Central and West Livonian, instead of this long O, is a long A. Okay, and you can listen these 8 short vowels. You can listen but in the pronunciation. Again, this Peter Damberg, and he's going to read all the, or pronounce all these vowels, these 8 vowels, 3 times. So I'm going to play that.
I, E, E, U,
Okay. And I'm going to pronounce you the words also here. So with different vowels. It's Kila, the village, Silma, the eye, deck, a blanket, Terinch, hello, Gaba, it's a cone, Bava, day, Subra, a friend, Veres, a stranger, Vön, luck, Völda, to be. And maybe I will just explain a little bit more. This O with a dot, you can't pronounce it. It's somewhere in the middle of U and O. So it's maybe it helps in pronouncing it. And it's Kala, a fish, Randa, a shore, Suka, a stocking, Suu, a mouth, Sova, a stick, Kovet, wells. And this long O, it's Mo, a land, and Rontes, a book. So in this table, the vowels are grouped according to the tongue position in the mouth. So when the tongue is in front of the mouth and high, so then it's a high front vowel. When the tongue is more backwards or more back, and for example is low, then it's a low back vowel. So this is what the table represents here. In non-initial syllables, the vowels E, A, and U appear, and also this reduced vowel U. So this one. So for example, there's this examples Völda, Kachki, and Taurus. So for example, in this word Taurus, the second syllable U is not exactly the same as in the first syllable, so it's kind of reduced. But there are some foreign words where also, for example, O can occur, but not in but not in general. And as for long vowels, so in non-initial syllables, long a, e, u can occur, and also maybe there are some exceptions in foreign words. So it's like sida, ure, gadis, and yanu. And maybe one note about this second syllable vowel length. It is phonologically, it is like half long, similar to that of Estonian, but phonetically it is longer in duration than in Estonian. So you can, when you see this this macron above the letter in the second syllable, you can pronounce it definitely longer. So it's sida, ure, gadis, and yanu. Maybe in connection with the orthography, when you see this macron above the letter, for example, in the first syllable, then you cannot have the macron in the second syllable. So this is the question of orthography. You can't have the macrons in both syllables. Of course, there are exceptions when they come to the when we talk about the compound words, but not in the simple words. Okay, and yes, now we come to this vowel which is present in all Southern Finnic languages. So it's in Northern Estonian, Southern Estonian, Baltic, and Livonian. But yes, there is distinction in Livonian sounds. So one is a high vowel, as it was shown in the table, and it is higher than Estonian ö. And the other one with a dot is a mid-high vowel. And but there are some kind of restrictions where it can occur. So it occurs only in stressed syllables following the word initial consonants P, M, and V. So, for example, the words pais and maisa. And yes, there have been discussions about whether we should stop doing this kind of distinction in the alphabet, for example. But yeah, so there are many how do you say, pros and cons for this question. So at the moment there is this distinction. And I'm going to play you examples of these two U's in both short and long version by one native Livonian speaker, female speaker, Pauline Pliavinia, and see if you can hear the difference. So first is this high U vowel.
Sena, 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 sena,
And a long vowel.
murka, murka, murka,
So this mukka is a long. Now it's this mid-high vza,
waza, waza, waza,
short, and now long vârta,
vărta, vărta, vărta,
So we come to the diphthongs and triphthongs in Livonian. So there are, yes, polyphthongs, the so-called polyphthongs, diphthongs and triphthongs in Livonian, which makes this pronunciation, I don't know, more, I wouldn't say complicated, but maybe more interesting. So there are short and long diphthongs and short and long triphthongs as well. I'm going to try to pronounce them for you, these words in the slide. So it's gierde, liedis, suoda, kuona, laiga, aiga, tieude, juoi, suomab. So generally the long diphthongs and triphthongs are also marked, one component is marked with a macron above the letter. But there are some occasions when the length is not marked. So, for example, in this aig, so there's this the second component is long, aig, but you don't mark the macron above the letter. Or deures, you also don't, you don't mark the vowel length there. So yes, this is something that is interesting in Livonian. Okay, let's go to consonants. There are voiceless consonants in Livonian, so like similar to Estonian. P, T, palatalized T, K, S, Sha. So it's pada, tuba, kak. And between voiced sounds and also in word final position, after the voice sound, they are pronounced strong. So these are strong voiceless consonants. But there are also voiced consonants in Livonian. And for example, this is something that is different from Estonian. These kind of weak consonants, B, D, J, G, L, N, R, Z, J. So, for example, in between the vowels or in a voiced position, these consonants are voiced, but they can become kind of a little voiceless or maybe half voiced in the end, in word final position, for example, or next to the voiceless consonant. But between vowels, they generally are voiced. And also there are some occasions when they are voiced word initially. And almost all consonants occur as short and long geminates. So this geminate means that they are kind of double consonants. This means that they belong to two different syllables. So there's possible to draw a syllable to put a syllable boundary in the geminate. For example, tapab, but tappa. So in tapab, it's a short geminate, and in tappa, it's a long geminate. And Livonian is interesting also because there are voiced geminates. So the geminates can be voiced, like in the words God, tub, or is. Now about palatalized consonants. Livonian palatalization is, when we compare it, for example, I'm a native Estonian, so I'm going to make some comparisons with Estonian. Livonian palatalization is, how to say, stronger than in Estonian. And there are 5 palatalized consonants. It's d, l, n, r, and t. And they are, sometimes it is said that the Livonian has this full palatalization. So it's paja, noja. So it's not only, it's kind of a strong prepalatalization, which goes throughout, which continues within the consonant. And palatalization is marked with this cedilla below the letter. Then long consonants are written in word final position, and in consonant cluster, the long consonants are written with 1 letter. For example, there's this word kick, cock. When in Estonian we write it with 2 letters, in Livonian we write 1 letter, but it's definitely a long consonant there. Kick. And and, it's also long consonant, but written with 1 letter. And the letters F and H in Livonian are strong voiceless sounds, but they occur only in foreign words. And this H also occurs in some interjections, but yes, in Livonian own words, they don't occur. So, for example, it's film, Herzog, hymn. So then let's move to the tone in Livonian. So Livonian is the only Finnic language that differentiates 2 different 2 lexical tones in stressed stem initial syllables, and this is something that makes Livonian kind of unique, and this is also the main reason why I am in Denmark, because Livonian shares these similar characteristics with not only with Latvian but also Danish. So there are 2 contrastive tones: the plain tone, which is slightly rising, and the so-called broken tone, which is rising, falling, or falling. And for this broken tone, also the Danish døm stø is used. And sometimes with this characteristic rising, falling, or falling tone, also this irregular vibrations of the vocal folds occur. It's called, we call it laryngalization. Sometimes, even if the tone contour is not characteristic, then this can be this laryngalization. But when we compare, for example, Danish and Livonian, so in Danish it's more like a kind of creaky voice, but Livonian, this creakiness is not the dominant feature. And also there are different terms in describing this broken tone. There have been, for example, Latvian phonetic tradition uses intonation instead of tone. Glottal stop has been in use, but they all refer to the same thing, actually, to this broken tone. And there are some descriptions also from some Lithuanian dialects, and also South Estonian Leibu and Lutsi dialects. And as for pronunciation, maybe if you have learned South Estonian Võro language, there's this glottal stop, but yes, they are not 100% the same, but just to maybe you can get a better picture when you look at these languages as well. And to visualize it a little bit, so here are the example of the primary stressed syllable, where there's this plain tone with a solid line. So you can see it's slightly like slightly rising and then falling. So the turning point of this contour is kind of later in the syllable, but the broken tone or stö has this characteristic sharp rise fall contour. So this is just to visualize a little bit. And similarly to this long low O, in Livonian standard orthography, stö is usually left unmarked. So it is marked only in learning materials, dictionaries, in transcriptions, and it is marked with this apostrophe. And yes, this how to say, the symbol of this apostrophe, it can vary depending on a source, depending on a text, but it refers to the same thing. So it refers to this broken tone. And why is it so important? Yes, it's not how would I say it? It's not maybe that important right now for us learning Livonian, because it's something quite difficult to pronounce, and but it is still important in the system, in the language system. So it stö has a phonological role in, for example, differentiating the meanings of the words. So there are some minimal pairs like late and late, guan, yod, yod. I'm going to play you some examples also from the native Livonians, because I'm not very good at pronouncing them myself, and but yes, it is important. So it's good to know that something is going on there. And if we don't have this, yeah, people ask that. But if we speak and if we we don't see how it is written. How do we know that there's this broken tone? So then the context helps to understand. And here on the right side, you can see one study by Lauri Posti and Arni Penttila, who have also studied this plain tone and broken tone. So for how to say, for phonetics, it is quite a remarkable thing, because for example, at the University of Tartu, Finnish professor Lauri Kettunen was the first one who experimentally made this experimental phonetic study on the Livonian broken tone, and in the phonetics lab in Tartu. So there are many important studies on that, and this is what I'm also doing here in Copenhagen. Okay, I'm going to play you now some examples from one female speaker, and I point out that this difference between the tones, it is more clear when the words are pronounced in isolation or in a controlled speech. In spontaneous speech, yes, it is more difficult to hear, and yes, it is difficult to learn how to pronounce it. But it's kind of when the word with a broken tone, your voice is kind of tense. So while in the words pronounced with this plain tone, there is no such stress. So I will play you the examples, and can you hear? Try to listen if you can hear the difference between them. So the first word is with a plain tone, and it's more, and the second word is money, raw.
More. Raw.
So just out of curiosity, did you hear the difference between these two O's? And now there's one example of this frame sentence. Say strength again, kiitä joudvel, and say floor again. So kiitä joudvel. So the first word is pronounced with a broken tone, and the second word is pronounced with a plain tone.
Kiitä joudvel. Kiitä joudvel. Kiitä joudvel. Kiitä joudvel.
Okay. Did you hear the difference here? Okay, we move on here. And just one additional remark about this Livonian broken tone. It was an Estonian linguist, Ferdinand Johan Wiedemann, who first described Livonian broken tone in the 19th century in his dictionary, but he didn't use the word, or he didn't refer to that in any way. He just showed that there's something going on in the Livonian language, but he explained it, this broken tone, with these different lengths of vowels. But the one who first scientifically described Livonian stir was the Danish linguist Wilhelm Thomsen in the 19th century, and he was the one who said that it was similar to the feature of the same name in Danish. So it's kind of a legend already, how he interviewed a Livonian sailor in Copenhagen harbor, but he interviewed him. I think it was in connection with loanwords, Germanic loanwords, and but his ear could actually catch this difference. So and yes, since then this different studies on Livonian stir, they have referred also to Danish, and also vice versa. Sometimes Danish studies also refer to Livonian. Okay, so do you have any more questions about the tone? About the stress in Livonian. So Livonian simplex word usually contains 1 to 5 syllables, but the word stem can be followed by inflection formative, and that may consist a number of syllables. And the word has at least one stress. There are some exceptions in monosyllabic words that may become unstressed in a sentence, but yes, generally there is one stressed syllable. And also some pronouns, negation verbs, present and past forms of the word wilda, to be, they can be in the sentence, they can occur unstressed. And the primary stress is always on the first syllable of a word, and this is also valid for foreign words. There are some occasions where, for example, Latvian verb prefixes can be unstressed, but long verb prefixes, they have a similar stress to that of the stem. And also, for example, the compound words starting with the word mit or mitte, the second word can be more stressed. So like in mitiks or mitekuskis. And the secondary stress is generally on the third syllable of a word. So, and now a few words of the Livonian gradation. Professor Titrin Vitso has a very thorough studies on Livonian gradation. So Livonian gradation is an alternation of strong and weak grades of stress syllables when the word is inflected. So, for example, here are some examples of the weak and strong grade words. So it's kalad and kall, kikid and kikk, liepad, liepp, kiiras and kirr, võtab and võtte, siegub and sieg. So this is also something that is characteristic to Livonian. So, and before we go, it seems that there's going to be a break soon. I return to back to sounds, so that we can continue later with practicing the sounds. So there are some changes that has been taking place in Livonian. For example, S has become or has changed to sha or je when it is followed by I or J. So, for example, it's not kaks or kaksi like in Estonian and Finnish, but it's kaks, number 2. And there has been lengthening of the first syllable vowel in front of the syllable final liquid. So L or R or a nasal N or M. So when in Estonian we say jalg, nälg, or härmatis, then in Livonian it's the vowel in the first syllable is lengthened. It's jalga, nälga, äärma. And as I said before, in native words, this H has been lost in all positions, including at the border of the first and second syllable. And in these cases, it has been replaced with this by broken tone or stir. So it's raha in Estonian, but it's ro in Livonian. So the H has been lost. But the H is present, yes, in some foreign words and interjections. So in the first syllable, there has been changes from a, o, u to a, e, u, and they are caused by I or J. For example, the word pyva has become piva. It's like the holiday. In Estonian, we say pyha, but in Estonian, in Livonian, this letters with the dots, they are not present. Then there has been changed from A to O when it is followed by V or U, V or U. So, for example, in the word lova, in Estonian, we say lava. And at the beginning of the word, there has been a change. So the vowels O and E, they get additional consonant to the front. So O is VO and E is ye, like in the words võtša. In Estonian, we say otsida without V. In Livonian, there's V, võtša. In Estonian, we say mother, ema, mother. In Livonian, it's jema, so there's this additional consonant here. And yes, there has been this breaking of mid vowels, so that have caused these diphthongs, like ye, ü, o, ü, o. But yes, in Livonian, this ö and ü, they have changed into I and E, so it's E and E. Yeah, okay. This was a little bit complicated, maybe. but maybe it's good to know some changes.